Hello, Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for another Orc Mode workout. And today was Max Effort Deadlift Day. And just a quick reminder for those of you who enjoy these vlogs and watch them every day, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. Help me keep the likes higher than the dislikes. Run down and click like on all my other videos too. Thank you so much. I only did 2 reps. I got to pretty much what felt like a really solid training max. I started ramping, I didn't realize how much weight I was throwing on. Because again, I didn't realize how big of a deficit I was running. I forgot. And that I had like 111 pounds of chains on there. And then I went to do this on my second rep. I'm like, oh man, that was pretty tough. That felt like a max. Then I did the math and realized it was 646 at the lockout. It's like, oh, okay, well that's why. We're getting up towards 650 on that lockout. And having to explode off that deep deficit. A 3-inch deficit is pretty big. I'm happy with it. Like, I just didn't realize. I was thinking it was like 25 pounds less at the lockout. And I was going to do at least one more single. But I'm happy with it. Minimal ramping to just get there to a good training max. So, again, I'm happy with the number. Like, solid as far as what I would want at the lockout. But then we went over, and it's been a tough week. My traps are really, really sore from all the upper back work I've been doing, particularly yesterday, and all the cleans on the off days. But I'm like, let me go ahead and do these snatch grip deadlifts. I'm going to do them on my max effort days. So where I'm going to do them, I'm not going to do them on speed days, that's for sure. And I just stripped down the one extra plate, pulled the deficit out and the chains out, dropped it down to 445. I'm like, let me see if I can get some 5s with this. I got 3x5. Pretty challenging. For those curious, this would now be a snatch grip. I am out on the outer rings. Okay, I'm on the outer rings. My hands are completely outside of the inner ring. So this would be outside of meet legal bench grip. So we're getting towards snatch grip now. It was questionable last time. But these felt good. And interestingly enough, felt a lot of low back, felt a lot of quad. This deficit work always kind of hits my quads pretty good. Felt a lot of quad activation for a deadlift. But again, to be expected, you think about how big of a deficit is. And when people run these, they realize how much of a deficit they're creating once they actually do it. It's like, oh, yeah, it's like doing a deep deficit deadlift when you do the snatch grip. But it puts that extra pull on the upper back. Right, trying to stabilize that. So again, it's a great hypertrophy exercise. Great for hypertrophy in 3x5. Nice and heavy. Nice and heavy for at least this movement. I want to keep getting stronger at it. I want to see if I can get to 500 for sets of 5. Now that would be challenging, but I'd probably be pretty dang strong at that point. Now I get a bunch of people like, dude, you're pretty dang strong now. You're 43 throwing around the weight you throw around. It's like, yeah, but you know, they're strong and then they're strong. All right, we gotta keep moving forward. Getting better at tightening up the straps. I was doing the straps, I think, the wrong direction last time. Made it really awkward. They were a lot better this time. A lot better. Which way you wrap the straps around the bar matters a lot. I don't use straps that often. You guys pretty well know. So I'm not always familiar with getting them set up right. But there's going to be lifts where I need to use them. Eventually some of my other lifts, snatch grip stuff, I'll have to. Right, if we keep getting stronger at those snatch grip high pulls, I can see straps being needed eventually. I don't need them yet, but one day. And it's fine because I do a ton of grip work. There's no lack of grip training in my life. Which is why I was able to hold that lockout just fine. 646, no problem holding it. My upper back was running out of power. You guys saw that way I locked it. That was my upper back just kind of saying, oh man, it's getting hard up here. Which tells me I'm not quite where I need to be yet as far as my goals for the year. Got to bring some things up, continue to get my upper back stronger, continue to get my hamstring stronger, because we see my sticking point with the hamstrings. But we're addressing those things, right? I mean, what I am doing right here, one example of addressing it. Up next, just went straight to glute ham raises. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle good mornings today. Not after max deadlift and those snatch grip deadlifts. This wasn't feeling good mornings, but I need to beat my hamstrings up. So jump back over to the glute ham raise. I have it, and I don't use it enough. Some days like this where I want to really, really hammer my hamstrings, especially if I'm not feeling good mornings. Got in and did it. Cranked out 10 reps, and I threw the band over and did 3 sets of 10 with the lightest band. It actually wasn't bad. I feel like I could progress pretty effectively on bands right now if I have to. And we will. And we'll see how often we do this. I might try to work it in most of my max effort days. Just depending on how things on my back are feeling, how recovery's feeling. You know, we've got to have an ebb and flow of these things. Because I do push a lot of volume. Push a lot of volume right now. And yes, my arms are growing. It's not just because I've lost body fat. I've put size on them. Problem though is that when you're at my size, big arms don't really look big unless they're stupidly big, and mine are not stupidly big. Again, I think people would be surprised at what they tape at these days. Again, people forget I'm not 180 pounds. Right? You see these dudes out there who have 16-inch, 17-inch arms, right? And their arms look massive, but they weigh 170. Of course they look massive. They're 170 pounds. A guy with 16-plus inch arms at 170 is going to have football-looking arms. Right? So, issue is proportions. And I'm not willing to pen my arms and do all this stupid bodybuilder stuff. I don't care. But I'm going to keep training them because they need it. Right, especially the tricep. The tricep has to have it for performance. But I'm doing more bicep work too. Why? Because if I'm doing all this pulling from my upper back, I can't have my biceps be a weak link. It's like, well, why do we train triceps? Just to have big arms? No, we train triceps to get good at pressing. Right? We need thick, powerful triceps to get good at pressing, right? Well, a lot of our pulling biceps can become the weak link. Can be. And of course, since I'm on YouTube, it doesn't hurt to have more arm. But, you know, we're always looking at, you know, are we getting a performance benefit? So, yeah, threw in some more curls again today. Only a couple sets. Biceps were really beat up today. They had DOMs from yesterday. But I wanted to do something for them. I'll try to do more arm work any days that I pull, which is all my main training days, my 4 main training days. I'll try to do some heavy bicep work. And that's kind of what I'm going to do. It needs to be heavy. I've done tons and tons of high rep bicep stuff. And as much as the data says it's good, it doesn't really work that well for me, does it? Never found that to be the case. I have a lot of muscle groups that don't respond to really high reps, as well as the evidence would suggest. All right? We know that, we accept that. But these, nice and challenging, got some nice hamstring work in. You know, especially after doing the deficit and then the snatch grip deadlift, my hamstrings are already, you know, feeling pretty beat up. But this definitely hammered them, gave me a little bit of hamstring soreness for the rest of the day. And then after this, I went and ran an errand. So some people wonder why sometimes the max gets spread out versus this stuff coming up so much later. Oh, because I did other stuff. I actually had to do a quick client update in the middle of all this. And I made a quick errand. I really was craving watermelon, so I ran and grabbed a watermelon. And then finished my workout here. So this is part 2. So this is, you know, again, well over an hour apart. And it just is. Sometimes I just push it straight through. That's the beauty of writing my own schedule with it. Filming it and get it all up in the same day is that sometimes these are 2 separate workouts spread out. It's still all in the morning. It's not like I have a morning and an evening workout. But we bumped the weight 5 pounds on these. You can't really see the small plates on this side. Trying to work on that explosiveness, trying to work on that power while doing the snatch grip high pull. And again, some people are like, why the snatch grip high pull? Because it's a low skill exercise. We're getting the benefits of the Olympic lifts, but it doesn't require us to have good technical skill. It's not necessary to get all the benefits. Trains explosiveness and uses hip extension to build the entire shoulder girdle. All 3 heads of the delt, traps everything. great exercise. You know, it fits into our orc mode concept because you kind of have to use low weights because it's an explosive movement, or low reps. Focuses on power, focuses on thickness, a very orky muscle. All right. Really, how would we describe orc mode training? Training like an athlete with a focus on being thick and powerful. Right? The thickness matters. You know, and we have kind of a philosophy around it, and it fits perfectly well in conjugate training. Conjugate works with it very, very nicely. And again, a reminder with that, it's like, what is conjugate? It's a base set of templates with a loose idea on how to do your supplemental work. Some of it's kind of explained, but it is a template for your main work, followed by you need to do a bunch of supplemental work after. The supplemental work can be more ambiguous, and that's exactly what we're doing here. We're taking it and making that fit our needs, right? Make it fit our needs at the time, while we keep the max work and the dynamic effort work kind of following the flow of the template. We don't need to deviate from that. It works. It's a proven system. And then we tailor our supplemental work around what we need to do. And in my case, we want to bring up our classic lifts with it. That's obviously a priority, but we want to be thick and powerful and have power and thickness through the whole body, but particularly the muscles that give us the most strength and performance. Right? You need to look like a lifter. Notice I said a lifter, not a bodybuilder. You look like a lifter. And there are just certain muscles that we know are associated with being strong. Right? Shoulder girdle and traps, hamstrings, glutes, triceps, right? Those muscles, the go muscles. The muscles that when you see a guy who has all those, and forearms, you know that that's a strong dude. You know that that is a strong guy. Then I did rows. I added a little bit of weight, did a little more on. Just went up to 200 pounds and did a 4x6. We did a 4x6, which I think is a nice modality for what we're trying to do. I'm doing a lot of 5x5, a lot of 4x6, kind of rotating things around. There'll be lifts that I take to a 5x5 and see if I can do a 4x6 with them before I increase weight and do a 5x5 again. Like the snatch grip deadlift, I'd love to get it to a 5x5. It's just hard because I keep kind of jumping the weight. See if I can keep the weight constant maybe and see if I can get to a 5x5. And eventually work up to 500 for 5s. As far as max on it goes, I don't care. It's a hypertrophy movement. It's a supplemental lift. Maybe I'll max on it one day. I might. I keep yawning, guys. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I woke up a lot earlier than I planned on. I didn't get really the full night's sleep accordingly. So I'm pretty sleepy. So I've yawned like twice during this, but we've got to get through it. But we did these with a 4x6 and they felt good. This is a good weight for 4x6. I probably could have gone a hair heavier, but we were explosive or powerful. We were strict. Lit my shoulders and lats up. That's what we want to do. And my biceps really hurt actually today, even doing all of that. So when I went to do this 4x6, like I did yesterday, basically the same weight, but I just used this bigger plate instead of the smaller ones. Same weight. It was really challenging. My biceps hurt, so I just stopped at 2 sets. I'm like, you know what? That's enough. We've done all these rows, and this is 2 days in a row doing some heavy bicep work. Because 6s are pretty heavy. Heavy for me. And heavy's a relative term. So I did the 2 sets. I'm like, yeah, that's it. My biceps are done. They're already sore. They already had DOMs. So it's just coming back in and hitting them again because they got worked again today. Rows, high pulls, all that hits it. Rows hit biceps pretty hard. Not as effectively as curls. But a couple of good sets of curls and it will finish them off. And when you calculate it to the weekly volume, pretty fair amount, isn't it? Right? Pretty fair amount. Because we're only halfway through the training week and it's 6 pretty heavy sets of curls. After doing all the rowing. We've done a lot of rowing this week too. And if I do the same amount later in the week and we do 6 more total sets, that's 12 sets of curls. 12 sets of direct bicep work with heavy weight, not counting the rows. It's a pretty good amount. And then I did my 3x10 on my reverse hypers. And again, trying to get stricter. The last set I tried to be really, really strict, and it's pretty challenging when I go strict like this, even with this weight. Again, those curious, it's 280. Got 280 on it right now. It's just pretty close to the appropriate amount of weight relative to my max squat. But, you know, got in, did them, finished my workout up, and really there's not much else to say about it. I'm happy with the workout. Got a good deadlift, good quality supplemental work in. I feel like I'm going to gain muscle from it. Gain muscle, lose fat, get stronger, get thicker. But pretty much all there was to today's training. There's not much else to say, so I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.